Hello my book besties, welcome back to my vlog channel. It's your girl HALEYJEAN. I was debating on whether I wanted to post my March TBR or a book haul, but March is my birthday month. Happy Pisces season. And as a little birthday gift to myself, I don't want to set a TBR this month. I just want to give myself the chance to be the ultimate mood reader and just pick up whatever I'm feeling. Also, I do have some reading vlogs that I want to do this month, and so I'll probably be reading vlogs for those videos. So in lieu of a TBR, today we're just gonna do a book haul.
You a bad bitch, put your hands up high, hands up.
These are most of the books that I've accumulated. Most of them are from either independent bookstores or secondhand. I get a lot of my books on Pango Books. And of course we have some subscription boxes as well. I suppose it's only right to start off with the books that I got from Book of the Month because they are kindly sponsoring today's video. I've worked with them several times in the past, but in case you are not familiar, Book of the Month is a seasonal subscription box that delivers new hardcover fiction directly to your door. I have been a subscriber of Book of the Month for years now, and I love the diversity in the books that they pick each month. They have a huge team of curators to make sure that they are giving you the best new releases with a variety of different authors and stories, and there's always something interesting to read. But I also love that they give you the option to skip a month if you're not interested in any of the picks. So let me show you the two books that I got in my box this month. First, we have a thriller. This is Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. Sloane Caraway is a liar, harmless lies mostly, to make her self-proclaimed sad little life a bit more interesting. So when Sloane sees a young girl in tears at a park one afternoon, she can't help herself. She tells the girl's very attractive dad that she's a nurse and helps him pull a bee stinger from the child's foot. With this lie, Sloane becomes the nanny for a wealthy and privileged household of Jay and Violet Lockhart, the perfect New York couple with a brownstone, a daughter in private school, and summers on Block Island. But maybe Sloane isn't the only one lying, and all that's picture perfect harbors a much more dangerous truth. To say anything more is to spoil the most exciting, twisty, and biting smart suspense novel to come out in years. Careful what you lie for. I have been craving a nice, suspenseful, twisty thriller, and I love rich people drama, so this sounded super interesting. And then we have a fantasy romance. This is Our Infinite Fates by Lara Stephen. Evelyn can remember all of her past lives. She can also remember that in every single one, she's been murdered before her 18th birthday by Arden, a supernatural being linked to her soul. The problem is that she's quite fond of the life she's in now, and her little sister needs her in order to stay alive. If Evelyn wants to save her sister, she'll have to find the centuries-old devil who hunts her through each life before they find her first. That premise sounds so interesting. I love a good time travel romance, and I could see this becoming a really popular book. So, very excited to pick this up. Those are the two books that I selected this month. I love Book of the Month. Highly recommend checking them out. You can get your first book with them for just $9.99 using the code CLOVER. Check them out in the description box below, and I want to thank Book of the Month for working with me on today's video. The next place that I got some books was my favorite indie romance store here in Salt Lake City. This is Lovebound Library. It is a romance-only bookstore, and they have the cutest selection of bookish merch, bookmarks, and indie authors, which I love. Recently, I went in there to pick up some dark romance for a reading vlog that's coming very soon. I'm reading a bunch of your dark romance recommendations, and one that I needed to pick up was Sinner by Sierra Simone. I've read Priest, the first book in this series, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, spicy, a little bit sacrilegious, which I always appreciate. I think I gave it a 3.5 star, but I never continued the series, but this seems to be the fan favorite. It is Sinner. It's about this guy who is quite a playboy, womanizer, bad boy, and his little sister's best friend who is becoming a nun. But before she swears her life over to God, she wants him to show her everything that she could be missing. Such a classic romance trope, but I feel like this is just gonna be extra spicy, extra dark, and I'm excited to pick this up. So if you wanna see me read this, subscribe, stay tuned for a reading vlog. And the other book that I picked up from Lovebound is an indie fantasy romance that has just been going viral. I've been seeing this all over Instagram, all over YouTube. It is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Let me know what you guys think about this cover. I am conflicted. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I love it. And other times I'm like, this is some shit that I would have designed on Wattpad when I was 13. I don't know. What do we think? Either way, I've been hearing so many good things about this book. I don't really know anything about the plot, but I don't really want to know. I kind of just want to go into it. I've heard it's kind of your traditional classic fantasy romance, but I've been surprised at how high some people that I follow have rated this book. So it intrigued me and I want to give it a go. I'm not sure when I'm going to pick it up, hopefully sometime soon, but that is Quicksilver. And those are the two books that I got from Lovebound Library. This next book I actually found in a little free library at this park that I like to walk at. Such a good find. It is Bossy Pants by Tina Fey. This is her memoir. I love a good feminist celebrity memoir. It's like one of my favorite genres, and this is one that I've definitely had my eye on for the longest time, and this copy is in perfect condition, and it has gorgeous full color photos inside. Like, this is stunning. I think Tina Fey is one of the most talented and iconic comedy writers. I mean, Mean Girls is one of my favorite movies of all time. There is not a day that goes by where I don't thank Tina Fey for what she has given us, and so I really look forward to reading her book. It actually got me thinking that whenever I buy a house, I totally want to set up a little free library, either in my front yard or backyard. I think the rest of these books I got on Pango Books. First one is actually a book that I've already read. This is a 2012 classic. If you were there, you remember. It is If I Stay by Gail Forman. This was one of my favorite books in middle school, and I also love the movie with Chloe Grace Moretz. It like altered my brain chemistry. But I read this through my school library when I was in middle school, and so I've never actually owned a copy of this book. And the reason that I bought a copy is because it is set in the Pacific Northwest, where I am going to be moving this summer. And something that I want to do is read a bunch of books set in Oregon or Washington, because one, I'm moving there, but two, I also might want to write something in that setting. So I was just doing a bunch of research on popular books that are set in Oregon, and this is one that came up. And I remember loving this book, so I thought I would pick up a copy and read it again for a little bit of nostalgia. Another popular book set in Oregon is Girl by Blake Nelson. This is kind of, I think this is considered a classic. It was published in the 90s, and it follows a teenage girl as she moves to Portland and gets involved in like the underground punk music scene. Meet Andrea Marr, straight-A student, thrift store fanatic, and princess of the downtown music scene. Andrea is about to experience her first love, first time, and first step outside comfort zone of high school with the help of the indie rock band The Color Green. A lot of people said that this is like a classic Portland book, so very excited to pick it up and give it a go. Also, I love this cover. If I would have seen this cover when I was 13, I would have been obsessed with this. Another book that I got on Pango Books, this is The Silent Woman, Sylvia Plath and Ted Hughes by Janet Malcolm. This is a bit of a niche recommendation. I saw Swiftologist, one of my favorite content creators. He was talking a lot about this on his Instagram story, and I find the whole history of Sylvia Plath, her life, her death, and especially her relationship with Ted Hughes to be really, really fascinating. And Swiftologist said that this is the only book about Sylvia Plath worth reading, and I feel like that is really, really high praise. It's also quite short. It's like less than 200 pages, so I thought I would pick up a copy. The person who I bought it from on Pango sent me a bookmark, which is the sweetest thing ever. I definitely want to read The Bell Jar before I dive into this, but I think I'm going to read this shortly afterwards, and I'm really excited to get into it. Let me know if you've read this, what you think about it. Now, something that I do typically go for. Right as the doctor ordered, this was on my anticipated releases for this year, so naturally when it came out, I had to pick up a copy of First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I've read one or two other books by B.K. Borison, and I really enjoyed their writing style, and the premise of this book sounded so interesting, and honestly, this might win the award for the cutest cover of the year. And we're only in March. I'm obsessed with this cover. A hopeless romantic meets a demoralized radio host in this cozy, Sleepless in Seattle-inspired love story. I think this is another book that I want to pick up for a potential reading vlog, so stay tuned if you want to know my thoughts. I think I'll be picking this up pretty soon. Okay, and the last book that I have to haul for you today is The List by Yomi Adegoke. I think I've only heard maybe one other person. I think Evie ASMR, Queen, love her. She talked about this in a wrap-up like months ago. But then I was just browsing at the bookstore as one does, just reading the synopses of books, and this one really, really gripped me, so I picked it up. Ola is a celebrated journalist and set to marry the love of her life. Young, beautiful, and successful, she and her fiancé Michael are considered couple goals of their social network and seem to have it all. That is, until one morning when they both wake up to the same message. Oh my god, have you seen the list? It began as a list of anonymous allegations about abusive men. Now it's been published online. Except this time, Michael's name is on it. With 1 month until the wedding, Ola gives Michael an ultimatum. Prove his innocence or the wedding's off. But will the truth of what happened change everything for them both? If that doesn't sound juicy as hell, like, I don't know what does. I need to know. What did Michael do? Why is Michael on this list? Do I need to beat Michael up? I want to find out what happens. I also love the simple, kind of eye-catching cover. Very excited. So, that is the last and final book for this book haul. Those are most of the books that I've accumulated over the past few weeks. Let me know which ones you think I should bump up to like the top of the TBR, which ones I should pick up this month. And don't forget to check out Book of the Month in the description box below. Get your first book for just $9.99 using the code CLOVER. And hopefully I will see you next time. I try to post a new video every Thursday-ish. Sending you lots of love and light. Bye.
Bad bitch, put your hands up high, hands up high.